So if you ask any creative photographer, they're probably going to answer the same thing. How do you feel about shooting behind the scenes of, say, a music video or a short film? Most people would probably say it's pretty boring or not something that they really want to do. And to be honest, I must confess, I thought the same until one of my friends called me up and said, would you like to shoot behind the scenes of a music video I'm directing and filming in London? And at first I was a little bit hesitant, but when I sort of thought about it, there's quite a few good opportunities here and ways to learn and sort of improve your photography when it comes to shooting behind the scenes stuff. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about 4 things that I learned whilst doing behind the scenes photography on a music video set. Let's roll the intro. Welcome back to the channel everyone, I hope you're all doing safe and well. It's nice to meet you. If we're just meeting, my name is Connor Wells, I'm a photographer, videographer and podcast producer, and I make videos about those 3 subjects every single week. So if that's something you're into, consider subscribing. So when my friend asked if I wanted to shoot behind the scenes of this music video, again, like I said at the intro, I was a little bit hesitant, but to be honest, I wasn't going to refuse. So I showed up that day and I actually learned quite a lot about sort of photography, the way music videos are done as well. But also, you know, it's a really good experience. So I'm going to be going over 4 things that I actually learned on that day. But the best part of the whole day was that I actually took some photos that I think I'm going to add to my portfolio on my website, which is connorwells.com, link in the description. But anyway, let's get on to these 4 points. Number 1, it's an opportunity for a photo shoot. During the shoot of a short film or a music video or some sort of advert that you're doing the behind the scenes of, it's more than likely that the actors aren't going to be camera shy and it's not going to be one of those experiences where somebody isn't used to being on camera. If you're working on a big budget short film or music video, there's usually a DOP, which is director of photography, that is, you know, working the light. There may be a makeup artist there as well. Of course, if you are working with a bigger budget, there may be a few more people who are working with like the lighting and sound, costume and set design and stuff. But let's stick to the sort of smaller scale music videos and smaller scale short films. The good thing about doing the behind the scenes photography is the lighting, the makeup and all that sort of stuff is already taken care of for you. So all you need to do is snap the pictures and edit them, of course. I sort of saw that as like a really good advantage for me because the crew, the 2 videographers and the director all set up the lighting for me. And you know, that's usually saves me a lot of time. Usually when I'm planning photo shoots, I'll create a mood board and sort of figure out location ideas and all those sorts of things to take into account when it comes to planning a photo shoot. But it was already there. It was a little bit run and gun, but the lighting was already set up, so that was a really big win for me. I managed to take some behind the scenes photos like these ones here, and I'm really pleased with them. This was obviously on the set of the music video, and it was during the performance sections of the music video, so there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of energy to these photos, and I'm really pleased with them. And you can use those photos to sort of build up your portfolio. You know, they could be like band photo shoots, you could use it as like a specific section on your portfolio as behind the scenes. It's really good. And maybe in between scenes where people may not be sort of on set and they're not needed at time, you could, you know, ask them, do you want a quick photo shoot? And you could capture some extra sort of behind the scenes stuff, sort of the less candid sort of stuff, you know, behind the camera, and more, you know, staged photo shoot kind of stuff. Even if you don't necessarily like the theme or the style that somebody else has planned for this music video, it's a really good way to learn. It gets you out of your comfort zone as well. And at the end of the day, all of those things help you progress. Number 2, you are surrounded by creatives. Working with creatives, I've got to be honest, has helped me so much when it's collaborating on video ideas, music video ideas, like photo shoots. All of those things have really helped me and taken my idea or my project from one level all the way up to another level just by collaborating, getting feedback and working with other creatives. It is so beneficial to collaborate. Yes, it may be good working on your own and, you know, being a one-man show, one-woman show, and, you know, doing everything from directing, lighting, filming, editing, and all of that sort of stuff. But when you're working with other creatives, other videographers and photographers, it really does sort of take the stress away from you as well. It takes a little bit of weight off your shoulders, which is never a bad thing. One of the best things is like the shared interest in, you know, completing the job and not wanting to disappoint. working with other creators gives you like a really sort of good morale boost, and sort of inspires you to sort of take the project and take the photos or the video to another level. You can't really disappoint with average images, so it really sort of pushes you to get really creative. And let's be honest, working with other creatives, it's a good thing because we don't always have photos of ourselves, in the action. So having a behind the scenes photographer like I was doing that day gave the two videographers, and one of them was the director, some really good shots of them, working with the gimbal and, directing, instructing and sort of guiding the talent how to perform and stuff. Now, luckily for me, I was shooting behind the scenes of a music video, which means me taking photos wasn't really a distraction, and I didn't really need the talent to pose, so I wasn't really getting in the way of the camera crew. But just keep in mind that if you're shooting, say, like a short film, it's probably not best to shoot photos whilst they're sort of filming and sort of going over their lines of the short film and acting, because they're going to be wanting to concentrate on the camera without you sort of getting them to pose for photos, if you know what I mean. The sound of the shutter can sort of throw a whole scene away, so maybe turn it on to silent shutter mode if your camera can. But because I was shooting a music video, there was loud music blasting, I had sort of in-ear protection going into my ears, the shutter sound didn't really matter. So if you're shooting a short film, be patient and wait for the director to say cut, and that's when you can start taking your pictures. Number 3, you may get to work with these people on another future project. A whole day of filming can take up to 8 hours or more. You're going to meet a lot of people, depending on the size of the crew, and you'll have a lot of time to get to know everyone. And I would highly recommend socialising during your breaks. Now, this music video, we had a few setbacks, some people forgot equipment, so we were a little bit stretched on time, so we were sort of like taking our breaks on the go, doing coffee runs, and sort of eating in between setup changes and stuff. So we didn't really get too much time to socialise, but because the videographer that hit me up and messaged me saying, do you want to come shoot behind the scenes, actually lived in the same town as me, I had a good sort of chance to socialise with this person and the crew on the way to the location, because we both got the train together, we both lugged all the gear, and we helped each other out, we got to know each other really well, and fingers crossed we'll be working together a lot more. Most of them have the same passion as you, whether it's the assistant or the sound team. You can speak about previous or future projects, have tech discussions about camera gear, you name it. Honestly, on the train there, it was about an hour's journey to London from where we both live, and I think pretty much the entirety of the train journey we were just nerding out about camera gear. I loved it. It was amazing. Also, when it comes to wanting to work with the people again, you've got to really sort of up your game and sort of really impress. Now, these behind the scenes photos were for the director and the video crew, but they were also for the band as well. So when I'd gotten some photos, I basically connected my Canon M6 Mark II to my phone, to the Canon Connect app, which is a great app. If you've got a Canon camera, I highly recommend you get that, because you can use the app as a remote, but you can download the images straight from the camera onto your phone. And with that, I imported them into Lightroom, did a quick edit, and sent the photos immediately to the band. And they were so impressed, they gave me a follow on Instagram and also posted the images up immediately. So they've got some there and ready to go behind the scenes content for their socials, which it really sort of takes it above and beyond of being a behind the scenes photographer. And once these people see your images, they'll start spreading the word to other people in their area and share your images on social media. That is, of course, if the images are good. If you've done a good job on that shoot, it's more than likely that they'll call you back, providing, the crew and the project fits the budget to have a behind the scenes photographer. But if it doesn't, they may pass you on to other friends and other colleagues, so there's an endless amount of work if you do really well. And tip number 4, you will learn a lot of technical things. Most film crews use a lot of advanced equipment. By watching them set up and everything, you will learn a lot about cameras, the choice of lenses, framing, lighting, sound, communication, teamwork, tracking shots and organisation. Now that's a lot to go off of there, but it's true, you will learn a lot. Before I actually started shooting behind the scenes content and photos, I actually set up the lighting equipment, which was really cool, some really massive, huge, big softboxes. Those softboxes actually ended up being too heavy for the poles, so we had a lot of problem solving there, but in the end it worked out. And just sort of listening, keep an open ear out about how the videographers and the directors communicate with each other, how the director communicates with the talent, and listen to the phrasing, listen to how the videographers talk about the lens choices and the angles and the framing and the movement of the gimbals and stuff. You actually learn quite a lot. And for my next music video project, which is coming up in a few weeks, I'm going to take all of those things that I heard into account, and it's going to improve my video project as well. Even if you're just sort of passive and floating in the background taking shots, try and absorb as much as you can when it comes to the behind the scenes stuff and the communication between teams and talent. Pay attention to the theme and styles that the actual videographers are looking to do, and try and emulate that and sort of replicate that in the photos that you take. And obviously in the post-production and editing of those photos, try and edit it in a way that you know is going to fit the theme of the video itself. So if the short film that you're doing the behind the scenes for is sort of like an older style thing, you know, it might have a vintage vibe to it, try and do a vintage style edit on the photo. If the music video that you're shooting is really sort of dark and grungy and moody, try and make those photos really dark and grungy and moody. So those are my 4 things that I really learned when I was doing behind the scenes of a music video or a short film. Now in this case it was a music video, but it sort of goes hand in hand and it's in the same ballpark. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got some value from it. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video right over there.